Good evening, everyone, and a very hearty welcome to each one of you. We never tire of saying welcome or welcoming people because it is a great way to connect with one another at the level of Chaitanya. We are studying the Shiva Sutras, and the first sutra has been Chaitanyam Atma. So just close your eyes and welcome each one of us present here with this awareness, as if you are welcoming yourself, the same Chaitanya that has become different forms, different persons, different backgrounds. And as you feel this connection, open your hearts to the presence of grace which is showering both inside and outside. Take a few deep breaths, each time getting deeper into the heart. Let us chant Om 3 times and then do the Guru Vandana. So chant Om on the out breath. Now we will do the Guru Vandana. Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। Take a moment to bow down in your heart to the great masters of Kashmir Shaivism, who have given this sacred knowledge to us, and by whose grace we may get to understand some of it, and it will continue to distill within us for a long, long time to come. Sadgurunath Maharaj ki jai. So, before starting the session, I was speaking to Rashmi, and she said that the first lecture was a bit too loaded, sometimes difficult to comprehend, and she had to watch the recorded video again, and it felt a little more meaningful, understandable. That is true. As I said, these are sutras. And a sutra is something which is very condensed. It is like a seed. So when you see the seed, you just see the seed. But the seed contains an entire tree within itself. If it finds the right kind of soil, a helpful climate, then its outer crust is going to break open. A plant will emerge, and in course of time it becomes a tree. So when we see the seed, we do not see the tree. In the same way, when we come across a sutra, we are just seeing a collection of words. We may be able to get some kind of meaning or a translation of the sutra. For example, Chaitanyam Atma. What does the sutra say? That the supremely free divine energy has become everything in this universe. It is a literal translation, or maybe an expanded meaning. But what is the sutra saying? How is it going to manifest in our lives? If we want to pursue the sutra, then it's a seed. If we keep going back to the seed again and again and again, then some miracle will happen. The meaning will manifest. So if you attended last session, you heard the lecture, then you went back and forgot about it, and here you are again. I'm not casting any aspersions on anyone. If you have not been with the sutra, then it may be difficult to feel its presence in your life. So how do we do something that it manifests? So to find it difficult to comprehend, it is understandable, but normally we approach things in life from a very intellectual viewpoint. Now what is the intellectual viewpoint? You go into the word, you find out the meaning, you read the meaning and try to understand or figure out what is the meaning. But Mr. Solitavarya used to say, when he was teaching the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, he said there are words and there were words within words. So unless the word within the word starts revealing itself, he said all these great masters were very difficult people. So what they did, they put something in the form of words. But there is something that they did not put in there. It is for you to discover. So how do you discover new lands? How does a scientist discover something new? He is very passionate. He is not mindful of the dangers. He is not mindful of this effort involved. He has decided, it is his passion in life, I shall discover. And he goes for it. He is prepared to sacrifice anything or everything for it. And he doesn't know whether his search will fructify. Yet he keeps going back to it again and again and again. And then someday, if it happens, then the discovery is made. Somebody was trying to discover India. He discovered America. So that is why one of the great sages has said, Jin khoja tin paiya, gehre pani paint. So you should be able to take that jump, unmindful of getting drowned. If that is the spirit, then the revelation might happen. Because unless the revelation is there, the sutra will remain an intellectual concept. We have had so many intellectual concepts of our form. Somebody has a great concept, I am a man. Another person has this concept, I am a woman. Somebody may say, oh, I belong to this particular family. I have such a great lineage. Others are inferior. But is that person free? Does that person feel complete from within? That completeness can be found only through revelation. When a person comes to know who I am, what is my true nature, then one becomes free. Beyond that, Anything that a person may do is just an experimentation with one concept or the other. And look at what we can do intellectually. We are very good at analysis. So what does a scientist do? He takes a flower, he can break that flower into different components. He can figure out, oh, this is this element and this element or this compound is present there. But in the process of that analysis, the flower is going to be destroyed. Can he put the flower back again? No. Because the flower cannot be known by dissection. In the same way, man or woman or whatever a human being cannot know himself or herself by dissection. Because when we are analyzing and dissecting, we are looking at outside of us. We are not looking at ourselves, our own true nature. So we may know everything. People are very well read, they have read a lot of books. But the knowledge which they have gleaned from those books is only adding to their burden. The freedom is not there. Somebody may have traveled the whole world, yes. But one has not discovered that place within himself or herself where this great freedom exists. Because whenever we are going outside, traveling outside, we are always a firm. We always need a passport, a ticket. But within ourselves, there is this complete freedom of being anything and everything. And that freedom has to be obtained. And that is why studying a scripture is not like any other study. Normally what do? We call it adhyayan. You look at something very objectively, very nicely, in a very analytical manner, and you think that you know it. But you haven't known. Because it is not going to give you freedom. That is why when we study the scriptures, we call it Swadhyaya. What is Swadhyaya? You are not studying some scriptures, a book, something written. You are not studying a bunch of words. You are not studying an expression. You are studying yourself. The idea is to know who am I. Because only when that meaning is revealed, then we can become free. Otherwise, we will remain incomplete. The idea of completeness cannot be there. And why is it so difficult? Let us see, look at it. What does some of the scriptures say about it? What should be our attitude to this study? So Guru Gita has this phrase or a statement which I like very much. Guru Gita says, Jnanam Geya Samam Kuryan Nanya Pantha Dvitiyakah. Jnanam Geya Samam Kuryan. Whatever you want to know, or what is the knowledge that you seek? The knowledge that you seek, you bring it to the level of that which you want to know. Nanya Pantha Dvitiyaka, there is no other way. And you look around yourself. You look at a physicist, he is a great physicist. But what is he doing? He is breathing physics. All the states of waking, sleep. Look at Ramanujan. He was such a great mathematician. Even in his dream, he was solving mathematical problems. So in the same way, when we take up a scripture which is as profound as the Shiva Sutras, we should be breathing, eating, walking, even sleeping the Shiva Sutra. So that is why I said that if you just attended one lecture and went back and forgot about it, came back to the second lecture, then perhaps there is something more to be done. Because Guru's Gita says, Jnanam Gyeya Samam Kuryan. What is the Gyeya Sam? You want to know your own truth. Now you have to bring your knowledge to the level of your own truth. Then that truth will be revealed. Otherwise, whatever comes is nothing, not the truth, but a shadow of the truth. And the shadow of the truth is not going to give you liberation. So this is something that each one of us has to contemplate. Why we want to study. Whether we are studying the Shiva Sutras, whether we study the Bhakti Sutras, whether we study Yoga Sutras, anything we may study, it is not for intellectual knowledge. It is to let the seed sprout in our hearts and become the tree inside, so that we become the living sutra, the walking sutra, the eating sutra, the breathing sutra, nothing else but the sutra. That is why I spoke of the three upayas. So this is the Shambhava upaya, the upaya given by Shiva. Just one sutra can bring this journey to an end. One can be liberated here and now. So this is something to be contemplated. And how do you do it? You taste the sutra. If you come across a great piece of chocolate and you are very greedy about chocolate, so what do? You don't put the entire bar at once in your mouth and be done with it in 2 minutes' time. No, you take a small bit of the chocolate, put it underneath your tongue, and let the sweetness, the aroma linger. And just one bit of chocolate can give you a satisfaction of the whole bar. And this is the secret of the sutra. So you taste the sutra. You smell the sutra. You touch the sutra. And it will begin to grow inside you. But you have to let the sutra grow. So if it is something that, once we have read intellectually and then we can announce to the world, well, I have studied the Shiva Sutras, and be done with it, then perhaps one had missed the point. Because even the whole book of Shiva Sutra is not needed, just one sutra, Chaitanyam Atma, is enough. So this is what I wanted to emphasize. Perhaps I did not say it in as many words in the first talk. So what is it that we are mostly concerned with? Just close your eyes and see what is the most dominant thought. What is it that you think? We all have had our difficulties in life. So one of the common refrain or most common refrain is that I am a victim. Think about it. There are some people who have this habit of doing good. So I am so good. I might think I am a teacher, I am teaching. That itself, that thought can become very predominant, because if that becomes predominant, then I become concerned at how many people are going to get from what I am saying. So expectation comes in. I am helping. So whatever these thoughts are, does any thought give you that sense of completeness? That I am complete? So what is it that we keep on doing in this world? We are so much caught up with mine, my, I have done this. We are caught up with the result. And yet, the fact of the matter is that everything that comes up is our own ego coming from the back door. I came across a nice story. There was a king. He had become very old. He had 3 sons. And the question was, who is going to take up everything, whatever. So he asked them, you take a day or 2 off, or you take a few months off, do something which you think is great, and you come back and tell me. So when the time arose for this feedback, the 3 sons arrived. And one son who was the eldest, he asked him, what did you do? So he said, a very rich man was going away from some Tirth Yatra. He left all his jewelry and wealth with me. He did not even count, he did not even open the bag and show me what was there. The temptation was high, but I didn't do anything. I didn't touch. And when he came back, I returned everything to him. So the father said, look, it's okay, you didn't do it. But why didn't you do it? You said, I did feel like there was some kind of an idea. So much is there in my room, in my cupboard. So why did you not steal? They said, you did not steal simply because you would have felt guilty about it. So the son said yes. They said, that's another way of ego coming into play. You wanted to escape guilt, so you didn't do something. Then he looked at the other son and he said, well, I was passing by a river, somebody was drowning and the waters were very deep and I just jumped into the river and saved this man's life. So the father smiled and said, yes, this is better than the first one. But why did you save him? He said, it was not good to have, I could have just saved myself or walked past and this fellow would have died. Then he asked him, if you had passed, then had you, been able to live with the news that this man drowned? He said, no, it would have been very difficult. So he said, okay, so you did this to satisfy escaping this guilt which might have arisen. You did something good, it is good. Looked at the third one. And the third one said, well, I just one day went to a mountainous region. There was a ridge and a person was sleeping on the edge of the ridge. One turn and he would have gone down and to his sure death. I went close to him and I looked at him, and he was somebody who has always been doing character assassination against me. I thought what to do. He would fall. That would be sure death. So I went and woke him up. And look, this man is so thankless that instead of thanking me, he has come down and he is spreading stories about me, and he says, well, I had gone there so that I could fall down in sleep and die. And look at this man, he saved me. So the father looked at him and said, well, my dear son, this is better than the previous two. But when you narrated this story, your chest was puffed up. There was a kind of a sparkle in your eyes. And you were narrating this with a great sense of ego, as if you have done something great. This is how ego comes from the back door. So the whole purpose of the three stories is that we live life the way we want to live. We have made our standards of good, bad, indifferent, whatever. But whatever be the standard, it is never good enough. Because always we are doing something because of some consideration, some intellectual input, some input by the ego. And as long as we are being a creature of the mind, we are far from being Chaitanya. We are not Chaitanyam Atma. The mind is so intelligent. It will always create logic that can justify your action. Mullah Nasruddin's wife was very angry with him. And they had a big fight, and she was telling him that you don't really care about my relatives. You always care only about your relatives. So Mullah thought for a while. And he said, no, you are wrong. I can prove you wrong. So she said, it is the truth. How can it be wrong? And with a sly smile, Mullah told her that, look, I love your mother-in-law more than my mother-in-law. So what did he say? He loves his mother more than the mother-in-law. But he said it in such a fashion. He said, look, I love my mother-in-law more than your mother-in-law. So I love your relatives more. How can you say that I don't love them, I don't care for them? So, this is how the ego and the mind are going to work. We are Chaitanya, but it is so difficult to get it. We cannot be anything else, because that is the seed, that is our true nature. So why don't we get it? It's not very difficult to understand this intellectually. You see a lamp, and the lamp is lit. Everything around the lamp is being illumined. But you look at the bottom or beneath the lamp, there is darkness. So the lamp is illuminating, but the lamp does not know that it is lit. In the same way, it is our Chaitanya, this whole energy, the divine energy that we are, and through us, this divine energy is experiencing everything, it is tasting everything. And yet, because the lamp does not know that it is lit, we do not know who we truly are. That is why it can happen only through grace. It can happen only when there is an intense search. Any other search, when you are trying to intellectually know it, by analysis, is like an attack. It is aggression. All of us, when we really want to know somebody, we approach them with great sensitivity and love. And it is with great sensitivity and love that the barriers begin to break. A sense of oneness arises. That which is knowable is known. Otherwise, by aggression, by external means, you can acquire something, but you cannot know it. It's a very crude example. A person, is possessed by some evil intelligence. There are people who rape. A woman raped is a person whose body has been acquired. But can the rapist ever touch the soul of the woman? No. The soul can be known only with extreme love, sensitivity, and surrender. So when we really want to know our own reality, we have to drop the masculine approach, the approach of aggression, the approach of analysis. We have to become steeped in love and sensitivity. And then something may happen. The sutra may start sprouting in our heart. And some meaning can start, some meaning which is hidden. Like Tavariyaji used to say, words within words. So those words within words may be spoken from the inside. And a whole new understanding may start sprouting. So I thought, before I proceeded further with the Chaitanya Mahatma Sutra, it was perhaps necessary to dwell on this subject of how to approach a scripture. Because a scripture is not there for knowledge. It is swadhyaya. We are trying to understand our own true nature. Too much knowledge will be a burden. When we go within and we want to know ourselves, it's a process of unburdening ourselves. It's a process of letting go of what we think we know. And then only there is a possibility that that which is already there but is hidden is revealed. So just close your eyes. And listen to this story. A very rich man fell in love with a very beautiful woman who was very socially active. He wanted to marry her. And yet, there was some kind of a suspicion in his mind. Who is she? She is she has so many contacts, she is moving around so much. Is she reliable? Should I marry her? So what did he do? He hired a detective to find out any secrets that this woman had. And the detective in turn hired somebody else. A number of people were put to trail this woman, to know all about her. And one day the report arrived. And the gist of the report was that this woman is absolutely blemishless. She has only one suspicious contact, and that was this businessman. So this is what happens. When we go on searching within ourselves for ourselves, then some unsavory truths about us, about our being, they are likely to come up. And that is when the sutra Chaitanyam Atma comes to rescue. So whenever the thought arises, I am so helpless, the sutra says, Chaitanyam Atma, you are the supremely free divine energy of God. When a memory comes up and says that you have not been treated well, take refuge in Chaitanyam Atma. You are the supremely free divine energy of God. When any thought of lack arises, incompleteness arises, give yourself the medicine, Chaitanyam Atma. Chaitanyam Atma. Any limitation of body, senses comes up, bring it to Chaitanyam Atma. Eyes like to see the other. Hands would like to touch the other. Mind thinks of the other. And this is how we remain in dark about ourselves. And that darkness can be removed by revisiting Chaitanyam Atma again and again. Chaitanyam Atma. Chaitanyam Atma. Chaitanyam Atma. And this Chaitanya is supremely free. It has no identity, but it can take upon any identity. Even the identity of being bound. So if someone feels, I am incomplete, I am bound, it is that this Chaitanya in its supreme freedom is giving that thought. It is giving one the freedom to feel bound. But as the reality dawns, all shackles disappear. Because there are no shackles, there is only freedom. Chaitanyam Atma. Chaitanyam Atma. Chaitanyam Atma. When you are in the state of supreme freedom, you have the freedom of action. Depending upon whatever is the moment, you act. And you are expressing your freedom. Chaitanyam Atma. Chaitanya is everywhere, it is everything. So there is nothing for you to hold on to. And there is nothing for you to run away from. Chaitanyam Atma. Take a few deep breaths. With the help of the breath, allow yourself to become more and more aware of the physical contours of your body. And when you are ready, you can gently open your eyes. So even when the eyes open, just keep the awareness on the inside. Take your time to come out fully. This brings us to the end of this session. So anybody wants to share anything or say something, you can unmute yourself. And if not, we can call it a day. So we'll end with Shanti Pat. सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनो सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चिद् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।